he was only here like a year, but I think people love Jamal as a player so much that regardless of how long he's with your team, he seems to make an impact. All right, but yeah, is Rick froze again? Damn, are you froze or am I froze?
No, I ain't frozen.
Yeah, you're not now. It looks like you went for a second.
Okay.
Rick is definitely froze.
Hmm.
Like we're gonna have another fun weekend of
Yeah.
fun
Freeze.
Yeah, fun week of freeze tag.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's going on with you, Dave?
Oh, another day. First day back in the office. A little bit underwhelming. I don't know. I guess I had high expectations because I haven't been able to work in the office in 6 months plus, and now I'm back, and it wasn't a whole lot going on. I guess I was expecting maybe kind of a boiler room environment.
Yeah. Well, what was it like? You went to a separate office and you were able to work outside of your house.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, when I'm at home, I'm working on my Chicago business or what I'm trying to, sustain is my Chicago business. But today was like my first day in the office with the intent to one get kind of set up at my new, real estate brokerage, and it's a it was like I said, like I mentioned in the text earlier, they were playing classic hip hop, which is cool. But I guess maybe I expected a lot more, work going on. There was a lot more, I guess, socializing, so to speak.
Oh, they were expecting. I thought when you said that you were talking about playing the link that I sent you.
No,
I sent you the PE link, but they were already playing classic hip hop at the gig, huh?
Right. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they weren't playing. Like you work in offices that are mainly, I guess, younger and younger, more white, and you expect it to them to play the modern stuff, but they were playing a lot of primarily like classic hip hop in the back, and that was cool.
Playing hip hop period seems to be kind of. I mean, I don't know how real estate offices are in general, but
they normally don't play music in general. First of all, second of all, I mean, when they do, especially when it's like a younger crowd, they play the more trendy stuff.
So
they play the more recent trendy stuff. So
the people who are there
was like I said, that was refreshing.
Well, the people who are there are younger than you for the most part.
Oh yeah, with the exception of two other guys. I mean, and both of them were the average age by a decade, if not more. Difference and younger, being younger.
So, is it diverse?
So, a lot of them were kind of like fresh out of college age. The office is pretty. No, I mean, I don't know. Diverse meaning there's one other black guy. He's young. There's one guy who's South Asian, who's my age, and then there's one guy who's kind of an industry vet who just came over from a larger commercial real estate group firm, and he's Argentinian, and he's a little bit older. But yeah, so there's only like three of us that are older than 30.
Oh, okay. Interesting. You gotta go far from where you're staying.
Kyle, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. You gotta go far from where you're staying.
You said what?
Do you have to travel far to get to the office?
No, Long Beach is about 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, what's the last part?
I just said you had to
What was the
travel
last thing you
far.
said?
Did you have to travel
No, I
far?
mean, like I said,
That's all I
it's a bit.
said.
Yeah, no. I said no. No, about 30 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, how was I mean, so I don't know. Ironically enough, I may end up coming back home once I get fully set up. There's not a whole lot happened today. Maybe it's just because the office manager was trying to help other people out at the same time, and I think they were like doing their quarterly review today, so that took up some time. So the only thing that I got accomplished was setting up the printer and getting into the CRM. That was about it. So it wasn't a whole lot of time that was directed to like what I was supposed to be doing. There. It's working on other stuff that wasn't related, but
Yeah, first days can be like that sometimes. Sometimes it seems like you're just jumping in midstream with the rest of the group,
Yeah, but they were acting like it was a Friday, I guess. Like on Friday, they kind of sit back and they talk about the week and they shoot pool and they drink and stuff like that. But they were already doing that today, and I was like, "What's going on here?" Like, it's a modern office, so there's like desk to the front and the front, and we'll say 3/4 of the way, and then towards the back there's a pool table, and then behind that there's like a coffee bar and like break a lunchroom. So that's great, but at the same time it isn't a whole lot going on.
Okay. All right.
Especially who had offices on the side. Of course they had work going on, but or deals they're working on. But it wasn't really clear that the people in the main open area were like working on deals, so to say.
Right.
So it was just kind of like it was kind of, I don't know. I felt like I could have been the same level of productivity, if not higher, at home. So.
Rick is having some issues trying to get back on.
Oh.
I think I might have to just send them the link to get on with us again.
Right.
Anyway.
So what's been your week been like? I didn't.
Well, my week been basically just talking about sports all week, which is well, I'm kind of glad to have this show as a respite from all that, because especially since Sunday, everything I've been doing has either been talking about sports or preparing to talk about sports. This has been a wild time because it's unique time. You never had the NBA finals running at the same time as the baseball playoffs, is the NFL regular season, and this has been it's good, but a lot of it at times it just seems like it's overwrought at times too.
Yeah, because I mean, COVID delaying the start of some things. I'm sure they're all kind of trying to play catch up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're doing, but it's in the process of doing that, nobody thought about when everything was converged. No thought was really given to that. So it's like for people who are used to things having their own seasons, it just takes some. I like the sporting schedule as it typically is. I like it, because there's a lot of people there's some people who they have their favorite sports and they like to have them all year. Like you'll have a person who's really into football, they'll complain about there not being football in April. Well, I'm fine with that because, April I focus more on basketball than, baseball. But, with this year being what it is, like I said, you have these convergences going on that weren't normally there. You know, basketball has to end at the same time as baseball, essentially, which that's never the case. And of course, you have football as well, just starting up at the same time. So it's just, you know, it's a good time and a bad time. Like it has pluses and minuses. Dave,
Got it. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, and also I can imagine, being on the cover. Yeah,
yeah, I hear you.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, no, I was gonna say I can imagine. Yeah, I was saying that I can imagine, from covering sports, it can be a little bit challenging too, especially if you're focused. If traditionally you're only focused, expecting to cover one or two sports, at this time of the year, and now you have to cover more.
Yeah, just a little more.
Wi-Fi isn't set up. For help, go to your Alexa app.
Is that you? Was that Rook?
What the Alexa? No, are you talking about the noise? The Alexa? Sorry.
Yeah.
Or the kid.
I know the kids are, but yeah, the Alexa
see Rook Pop coming in, or is he in the back?
Yeah, he's in now. Yeah. So,
I had Alexa plugged in. They were saying I need to connect with Wi-Fi. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
All right, you good, man?
I guess, man. I guess.
All right, yeah. Let's keep going. I was just talking with Dave about sort of going off more on the unique sports season and everything, and how everything is converged together, and the impact this sort of had on me, because I seem like I've just been talking about it, every hour since Sunday, talking about some sport. But I kind of like this as a respite from all that. So that's why I like doing this show. But I got to watch the game. Got to watch the finals, which is going on now. Miami and the Lakers. Dave, has there been any Laker hype out there in LA?
I mean, everybody's watching it. They're watching it, and my family's watching it. So, of course. I mean, Laker pride is it's very big in California, or Southern California in general. So, yeah.
It kind of sucks that they didn't have that Lakers Clippers series, though. I'd have liked to see how that would have gone down. If Rick could go again.
Yeah. He's having some challenges there, but hopefully we're home.
Yeah, we'll see. You good? You good, Dave?
Did you get a chance to watch the debate last night, or what?
Yeah, I was gonna bring up a couple things. I was gonna wait for Rook to set up, but I was gonna bring up a couple things. And one thing I saw with I didn't see it when it happened, but apparently your people got a little shout out from Biden. He said inshallah during the debate. Did you see that?
No, I did not see that. No. Yeah, I don't know where that. Yeah, I didn't even see that part. And I watched most of it. I caught the majority of it. I don't know. That's I don't know. To me, that doesn't mean a whole lot. It's like Rick Ross saying it doesn't mean a whole lot. Yeah, there were definitely some colorful, events in there in the debate. So that wouldn't be surprised me if I caught that. If I didn't catch that, a lot of crazy stuff was said.
Yeah, that probably doesn't make the top 20 crazy things that was said. Let me bring up this story that on CNN website about it
Won't make the
because
top 50.
yeah, you're right, probably not the top 50 either, but it
Uh-huh.
let's say on CNN it says Biden uses inshallah in response to Trump during debate, lighting up Twitter. And he said, so he said it. They were talking about the tax returns, his Trump's tax returns. It said pressing President Donald Trump on when the American public will get to see his long anticipated tax returns. Biden questioned when, inshallah, and CNN has to go into the whole describing for white folks what
With God,
inshallah
yeah, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I don't know. That still sounds like a gaffe, even if he did say it. I don't be surprised how much he. Yeah, that's just that's hilarious. I mean, if he did say that's hilarious.
I mean, a gaff is unintended, though. I don't know how he could say unless he was trying to say a word that sounds like or a phrase that sounds like that, and it just somehow said inshallah instead.
It's funny you bring that up. There's a I don't say there's a kid's book, but there's like this comic strip that one of my wife's friends, wrote. And it was of course the protagonist is a Muslim woman, and she has a white coworker who's at work, and she asked him, "Did you file your taxes yet?" And that's what he says, inshallah. And he's like, "That's not what I meant." And he repeats, and he repeats that again. So
Okay.
I think that's more of like a better, like, if he, like, yeah, that would have been, I think that use Biden tried to do kind of would have been baffling for anybody without context. But he said, I don't know. I just hope my brain is together more than both Biden and Trump in 40 years. I hope my mind ain't mush. I mean, he was as sharp as I guess he could be. All things considered, but
We talking about Biden or Trump?
Biden, yeah. I mean, but like, still, that's not saying much.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, Biden, you're dealing with someone yelling at you, essentially, and interrupting you consistently, and you're trying not to lose your cool in any way that will harm you in that setting. I mean, people are complaining, not complaining, but some people are critical enough of him calling Trump a clown, which really is not, is not offensive at all, and is accurate in many ways. And him telling Trump to shut up and stuff, that's really as much as you can get as far as pointedness outside of him really letting loose on dude, and he really couldn't afford to do that. And Trump just did what you had to expect he was going to do, which was try to make the whole thing a dumpster fire.
Well, the whole thing of the sleight of hand, saying, look at this,
Well, that takes some craft or some agility. He wasn't doing that. He was just he was like the Joker in The Dark Knight, man. He was just lighting that big pile of money on fire.
Well, he tried. I mean, no, he definitely tried to say, well, look at this. I mean, when he kept lighting into Hunter Biden's, improper relationship with, the Moscow government of Moscow, and taking $1 million,
which is very ironic coming from him.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I guess for him it doesn't matter. He has zero self-awareness skills.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, for and also it doesn't matter, because he's talking when he makes those comments. When he makes that comment, and then he makes the comment about a lot of the voting from home ballots being compromised. He's trying to essentially alert his followers. I mean, that's all he's speaking to. He's not speaking to the people who don't like him. who are not going to vote for him or who are, he's speaking
And
to
then
his followers.
he's doing that, and he's trying to make it. Legitimizing the whole process because he knows that's their only chance is to take the whole voting process out of the hands of the people and put it into the court system.
Yeah,
and make it into a thing where that's why he so gladly says that we're not gonna know what the results are on the day of. It may take weeks or months.
Right?
That can't happen. It just can't. But that's the process that he wants because that's the best chance he has to win.
Yeah. I mean, his whole thing is hopefully somewhere, down the line, someone, some votes on Biden's side end up disappearing, in the time.
Yeah, he got to make it close enough to be where it can be contested, and then it goes to the court, which he's making ultra conservative now. The Supreme Court, especially, he's going to make a super majority of conservatives in the Supreme Court, and he wants to get away like Bush did in 2000.
Right. Yeah. That's something definitely I was going to mention. Yeah. But I think the difference is with kind of like his picks in the court. I mean, they still have to follow the law. I mean, like Amy. I mean, just because they're conservative in their leanings, I mean, they still have to follow the law. It's not like it's
they do, and that I think over the course of their lives in the court, you'll see them straighten out more probably.
Yeah.
But in that moment, they're there for a reason. In that initial moment, she's there for a reason in that initial moment, I would say. And she's not gonna break ranks with the other, with Thomas and all them and Roberts and all the rest of them, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh, yeah.
She's not gonna break. The new girl is gonna break ranks with the rest of them on this thing if we get to that point.
Yeah, but I also think they also, while they may know I think there's a lineup between loyalty. I think it's a difference between being a member of the party, right, or his, or one of his advisors, and having loyalty there versus being on the Supreme Court, and having loyalty to him. So, I mean, in any particular case, if it gets to that point, it'll surely be interesting. But I don't see, I mean, from what I guess the poll they did, on CNN after the debate, it didn't seem like too many of his followers were neither side was happy with the.
No, you couldn't be. You couldn't have been happy. You couldn't have been happy if you were on it. Really, the only people who were claiming they were happy were the PR people from each campaign, because they have to project some sort of confidence that they have in themselves. But anybody who has two eyes and two ears could process that just wasn't a good time. Nobody really liked what happened, except for maybe the Proud Boys.
I don't know. The whole while a lot of people got enraged by the whole he didn't denounce, white supremacy and all that. And I'm like, I don't know what you expected. Like, I don't know. Like, you had to be real naive. Like,
that's true. I mean, he hasn't done it before, so why in that moment you think he would do it?
That man has. I mean, there is nothing in his life that shows that that's something that he would ever do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. The Proud Boys being, I guess emboldened or empowered by Stand By. To me, when somebody tells me Stand By, that's the equivalent of being put in the friend zone. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's just really.
I can see. I see what you said. Like, for me, I kind of felt that way too in the moment. Like, hearing it, it was like, Well, that's not a great declaration of action, but I can see how people can look at it as like, look, stand by your role, your time to play your role in this whole thing. It hasn't come yet. Your time will come though. But I think that's what a lot of people got from that, and that's what as the trolls that they are. That's what they are projecting too with their by jumping on it online and making the t-shirts and stuff. They think that there's a role for them to play now in this whole process simply by being mentioned in the debate. They think that they play a role now that's gonna that's gonna have an impact on this election, and that's highly unfortunate because now that could lead to I'm really just picturing at least one very tragic incident. It may not be a big incident, but I could see something happening that where someone is hurt or lose their life on election day because of some over enthusiastic asshole who wants to protect protect Trump in his campaign.
Yeah, in his campaign. Yeah, I agree. No, I agree with that. And it's
somebody defending themselves from such a person.
Right.
It's all that's up in the air now, man. And it boils down to the fact that this fool cannot. He doesn't have the capacity to say the right thing, and he doesn't have he doesn't want to, but he doesn't have the capacity to even hide that stuff and assuade the people of this country that there won't be and there doesn't have to be anything crazy that happens on election day. He can't even do that.
Yeah, it's really hard to. It's really hard to. I don't know, have him in place. Hopefully, I'm assuming the next debate between Kamala and Mike Pence will be more civil.
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so. But
I couldn't see Mike Pence getting fiery. I could be wrong.
I think you're right. Pence is not. I mean, nobody is Trump, man. Nobody is really Trump in that position. Pence is a real politician in that way. He's not gonna lose composure in the way that Trump is and attack Kamala. I mean, Kamala, I think, has much more of a chance to be aggressive in a way, but she's not gonna, break wild in the way that Trump would. She's just gonna try to call Pence out on things that, in a like I said, appointed, prosecutorial type of way, like being the lawyer that she is.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It was. Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. It's
but do you think that there'll be any presidential debates going forward? Because they said there's supposed to be 2 more.
I hope not. After seeing that, I mean, that was really just a hot mess. It's I think I mean,
what's the point, man? What's the point, really?
No, I mean, if you can't, I mean, or at least, or they need somebody tougher than Mike Wallace doing it, or Chris Wallace, excuse me. Chris Wallace,
Mike Wallace would have been with the shits if he was doing it.
Yeah.
Mike Wallace wasn't about no bullshit.
Yeah, they need somebody a little bit more hard-ish than Chris Wallace mediating the debate if they do it nothing.
Chris' voice wasn't like you need someone with a deeper voice than Chris. Like his voice wasn't hidden. Like it was kind of he didn't have the bass in his voice. You know what I mean?
I mean, he doesn't have the bass in his voice, but also, I mean, he's not. But Trump is clearly a bully. You need someone who's going to be a bully. You need someone who's going to be aggressive and with him, to have him listen. I mean, I think that's why a lot of the allusions to Sam Jackson to be, or reference to Sam Jackson being the next one. I don't know if you've seen the meme said 2 minutes, motherfucker, with me, or 2 minutes. It means 2 minutes.
I haven't seen it. That's it. But yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, you got to have someone who operates outside the boundaries of politeness in the context of these things. Like, that's what Trump does, and he doesn't operate within the boundaries of
formality.
Formality, or
being or civility.
Civility. Yeah, that's of traditional civility when it comes to this political process. He never has, and you would, if you're going to engage it with him, be it as a competitor or as someone who's trying to moderate, you really can't be moderate. You gotta be as extreme as he is. You gotta shut him down in some way. There've been some talk about having mute buttons, like,
oh yeah, that'd be great.
That's the type of thing that you gotta do to corral Trump in, because otherwise he's not gonna stop talking. So you gotta have some sort of thing in there that makes him stop talking, or at least keeps us from hearing him.
Yeah, because at this point, I don't know who could, one, talk over him. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's something else.
Yeah.
So,
and as far as the election goes, I think I'm just really holding out hope that it is that the margin, because I think we're bound to see him lose. We're definitely bound to see him lose the popular vote again. He lost it in 2016, but is the big question is he going to lose in the places where he needs to lose the electorate, the electoral college in the way that we need, and I would think that if it's a wide enough margin that on the night of that we see, because I think the threshold is like 280 or something.
Yeah.
Like if Biden gets to 280 and he doesn't even reach like 100 or something, by that point, like, maybe it'll be wide enough to where he has no argument, and then we can.
There's not. Yeah, there won't be the issue of it being,
right. You can't.
Ambiguity as far as how close the margin is.
No ambiguity. You can't say that, because if it's like 5 million votes or something, he could say that, there was 5 million fake votes. But if it's like
5 million is a lot of votes, and 62 million people voted last year. I mean, that's almost 10%.
But I think that would still be enough for him to say, because he was saying that last time, I think. Like it was something like 5 million votes, and he said that was something that were tampered or something, or fake or something. But if it's close, if it's like 2 or 3 times that, then his argument loses. He loses all the credibility, any credibility that anyone would be willing to give him, even his backers.
Yeah, I'd really be surprised if he has as many, supporters as he did the first time around. I mean, a lot of people voted.
That's why I said that's why I'm holding out hope that this will be the case, because he doesn't have the base of support that he did back then. Because
in 2016,
because so many people back then voted because they saw something in him that they projected something into him that actually thought that he would be effective some way in the office, but he's given away that in the past 4 years.
The veneer is gone. Yeah,
the veneer is gone. Yeah, there's still some fools out there who think he's effective somehow, or they're lying to themselves, or they don't want to admit that they're wrong. But there's not as many as there used to be. There just isn't. The polling numbers have shown that throughout every year. He's never been above 35%, I believe, in approval and in total approval. Like So he's not going to have. He doesn't have the base of support.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of his sycophants and the people who kind of rely on him for a job and kind of people on the fringes and people who there are a lot of people who vote for him, believing honestly he's the last bastion for white superiority.
Yes.
Supremacy. I mean, that's really where a lot of it comes from. That's why the Proud Boys.
The unashamed racists and bigots.
Yeah.
That's his best support group right now. Yeah.
That knows people who are, who have careers based upon him, based upon his
the career Republicans.
Right. Support.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's time. He's had his time in the sun. And I mean, I don't know.
It's a shame that he ever had it. Like we're really it's gonna really be hard to even us, even those of us who never supported him and never would have voted for him. It's like we still had to live at this time, and I think going forward, our descendants are gonna be like, man, how the hell did he get into that position? How did y'all let him into this position? And it's like I was looking at like Kimmel yesterday or the day yesterday I think, and like he gets on him pretty good, and he was showing him showing clips of him doing Tide commercials, like this, like he was getting on him for being willing to hawk any product. He had this video of him doing a voiceover for like a answering machine or something. And he was saying all these stupid. he was saying this stupid copy about take a message. It's like this dude was such a fraud, and this goes into the tax stuff too. Like there wasn't a product that he wouldn't put on his name on, and he'd do anything just to get some bucks or get some shine that would allow him to market himself to get bucks, because he wasn't that good of a businessman. He's more of a shill and a hawk, than anything else. He's not clever, he's not industrious, he's not a genius, he's not any type of person who really pushed industry forward. He wasn't a Steve Jobs. He's not any of these people who really are rich and made millions and billions off of their minds and their industriousness. He just isn't that guy. He hustled himself into the position that he got, that he's into most of the things that he's gotten, he's hustled himself into. And it's crazy how much he's conned so much of this country, and he conned himself into the presidency. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately, I agree with that. There was a great book, and Tucker Max, the guy Tucker Max, who he essentially was in law school, and he essentially made a book about how he essentially passed law school and passed the bar, though he was getting drunk all the time and partying. And that's pretty much how you can summarize Trump, and at least the part of the presidency. But how he got his name in the first place, or his fame in the first place, was he was backed by his father. His father was the self-made man. And if you read the Mary Trump's book, and it's actually a pretty quick read. I wish he came out with that book 4 years ago than now, but too much and never enough. It really talks about how Fred Trump was the self-made man, and ultimately how he financed, how he was the backer on a lot of Trump's, early deals, and how he supported him through his failed, deals when he had the Atlantic City casinos that went under in the late 80s and early 90s. And ultimately, he was backing them almost all the time he died. And then when they sold the portfolio of his apartment buildings in Queens in '04, '05, and it ended up being to the tune of, they said they sold it for like 700 million, and I guess by some estimates that was valued at closer to $1 billion. But he was in so much debt, he had to do that to essentially pay his creditors off.
Mm-hmm.
And he pretty much I guess had his second win when The Apprentice came. When he started became on The Apprentice.
That probably played as big a role as anything in allowing him that, and of course the campaigning against Obama and the birth certificate stuff. But he wasn't even the Apprentice got him in a position again where he was able to be taken seriously in the media again, because he was really out of it at that point. Like he was a complete has-been just about by the time that show came on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. You just wonder how does somebody like him get here. I mean, somebody like him getting there in business, I mean, that's a different conversation. But getting somewhere like that in the highest, seat of the land is just, it's unfathomable. And I think that, to the point of what Biden and Obama said, Biden said about leaving him essentially the strongest economy at the time. Whereas that if we were in a bad economy, I don't know if we would have went that route. I think that when things are good, you tend to be a little bit more reckless, or when you're comfortable in life, or when you're in a stronger economy, you don't tend to look at the details so well. So, I mean, it's like the difference between when your bank account is full, your financial decisions tend to be maybe a little bit looser than when, your money is tight.
Yeah.
And I think that
it happened. You can argue that happened with Bush too, after Clinton.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a certain recklessness. That's a good point. There's a certain recklessness that in 2016 wouldn't have been thought of in 2008 or 2004.
Both of those were definitely pivotal times in the economy in November 2008 and then November 2004 with the Iraq War.
Yeah,
so
and we can't understate the backlash that occurred because of Obama. And it's something that, like, you can see it in some of the rhetoric that Trump levies at Biden and Democrats in general. Like, he tries to make it seem like they were negligent. Like a big point is the court thing, the judge thing. We talk about the appellate judges and how many open seats there were, that open judgeships there were that were left to him, and he's filled them up now, and he's going to have about 300. Well, that's because he's working in tandem with the House and the Senate, who are both controlled by his party. The House and the Senate they also controlled things for the majority of Obama's tenure, his administration, and they did so much to block him. You think Obama didn't leave over 100 openings amongst the judges because he wanted to? He did it because he was blocked, because his appointments were blocked. And that's the type of thing that he was going up against throughout so much of his time in office. McConnell and Ryan, when he was in office from Wisconsin, these guys were up in his ass all the time, and they just really didn't provide it's amazing that Obama got as much done as he did get done, because he was completely he was fight tooth and nail with the Republicans the entire time. Whereas, you know, they say Trump has had really nothing but sycophants and backbiters in his, not backbiters, but just back scratchers more in his term. And he talks about so much that he's got done. He's really done nothing of real consequence. He's only disturbed things that Obama and Biden got done when they were in office. For the most part, that's what constitutes victories for him. Things that they got done.
According to him, he freed all the people that Biden called super predators.
Yeah, he loves to throw that at Biden. I mean, Biden. Look, that's something that he has a hard time living down. Of course, his role in the '94 crime bill. But I would, if he said that to me, I would have just say, look, I'd have threw up that one page, that whole page ad that he put out
from Central Park 5.
Yeah, I just threw that out. And like, you talk about what I call black people supposedly. Look at what you do. Look at what you've done. And the way that you've characterized a young black man who didn't even commit a crime, and you won't even admit to being wrong in that. You won't even say sorry about that.
Yeah, I think that the issue. The Democrats have never learned how to fight dirty. I don't know, for whatever reason. They don't even know how to back. They don't even know how to properly defend themselves.
It's not even fighting. Yeah. It's just properly defending yourself.
Yeah. I think that's a part of the problem. And then what Trump said is that Biden, unfortunately, and in politics, you have to show that you support law enforcement, and it's a tough pill. But the thing is, you're not. It's kind of, law enforcement, enforcement. It's it's like it's a step, below saying you don't support teachers. You end up being seen as a pariah in a larger, larger society if you don't. So that's a line that, of course, a lot of the police unions, even though they're dead wrong, are going to support Trump. And I love that he just cannot get any of his facts straight.
He says that the sheriff in Portland, which there isn't one, has pledged his support to him, but the actual sheriff of the county that surrounds Portland had to come out and say, "I've never supported Trump and I never will." So I don't think he just picks things out in the air. Like, where does he get this stuff from? Like,
there was a comment he made about something that happened in Philadelphia, and he's like, "Bad things happen in Philadelphia," and I know it's probably offensive as hell, but I want that T-shirt. Like,
well, you know the idea that for so long. I'll tell you should. If you just get that font,
it's just like bad things. I'm not gonna put bad things happen in Chicago. That's what.
But I'm saying it's along the same lines. Yeah,
bad things happen in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
with Trump.
Rob McElhaney had a tweet
with not Trump.
But you went out of the. What did you say?
I just said that. Yeah, that's the shirt I would want to make. The bad things happen in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah. But Rob McElhaney, Matt.
Yeah, from the show.
Yeah. He said he tweeted that the 15th season is pretty much writing itself. I can't wait to see what they coming up with. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe they can have like the Proud Boys can like barge into the bar.
But see, the crazy thing about a show like that is that they kind of repeat themselves and over time and they've actually done this they've actually done this they've done it themselves, like they've done it directly and like sort of meta in a meta way working off it. But one of the greatest episodes of is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, if y'all don't recognize what we're talking about, is when Charlie becomes ultra patriotic. Do you remember that episode?
Vaguely.
Yeah, I think it's like Charlie Goes America all over their ass. I think is the title. And it's like the American flag do rag, and it's this whole thing about them having the bar being free for everybody, like freedom, like ultra freedom, and they could do whatever they want in the bar, and they end up having they end up having the dangerous gambling ring in the basement. And it's like that movie. I don't know. You ever see The Deer Hunter?
No, I know. I mean, I know the scene. The scene.
The
Russian roulette.
The scene that they're referencing. Yeah, but Deer Hunter. They do that, and they have the Asian dudes in the basement, and everybody, and up at the top level in the bar, everybody is wilding too, and they have the big paws are in there, and they're being disgusting. It's a great. They wind up the McPaws wind up stabbing Charlie because Charlie is just acting crazy, and he's.
Is that the incestuous family?
Yes.
Okay.
The McPoyles, yes.
Yeah.
God, that show is insane, man. That show is insane.
I just, you know, I don't know. I just appreciate any shows about, I mean, it's terrible for me to say, but I appreciate any shows about dysfunction white people, which is probably terrible. I haven't seen Shameless. It's too bad we can't have Rick. Where's Rook at? We need, you know.
Yeah, I'm seeing. I texted him. Let me see. Yeah, Rook has worked on Shameless. Let me see. All right, well, it don't look like he's gonna be able to come back on this time from his tech, unfortunately. But yeah, Rook has worked like a few seasons at least on this as a cameraman.
Yeah.
On Shameless, which has shot primarily in Chicago. You know, when Rook was still here, he was working on that set, but. Yeah, that's the show. I got it on my Netflix. I think it's entering its last season or close to it. So that's for me. That's a good time. It's like it's kind of what I'm doing now with a couple shows. I'm doing it with that Schitt's Creek show. And
that's a good show.
And The Good Place. Since they're both are done now, so I'm gonna run through them and give my and see what's all the hype about with both of those shows.
Yeah. Well, if you ever want to share, you know, somebody to you know, share notes with, Nura's watched probably all of Schitt's Creek. I watched a few episodes of it, but she's the TV person now. Now she's going through her Black rerun phase, so now she's watching Girlfriends.
People are so hyped about the shows being on Netflix.
I don't know. Maybe it's something wrong with me, but I didn't like Girlfriends back in the day.
I know.
And I don't really, you know, now 20 years later, it's still. Well, you know, like I said, I mean, I guess compare, even though those shows, I guess compare. You know, I don't know that. Hold on. Sorry about that. Yeah, the UPN phase is, there's not too much from UPN from that time period that I was just like, wow, that was a great show.
Yeah, they were because
you hear me?
They were, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, they were still, you know, for the most part, those shows were just acting in that same, you know, the studio show restrictions and all that stuff. Like like probably the best show that UPN ever had was Everybody Hates Chris, and that was a show that
Yeah,
it was a one camera show that went beyond. It was a family sitcom, but it wasn't restricted in the way that the studio shows are. It was just it took you into that. It was a no, it was a period show, and it took you into Chris's life in the 80s and in Brooklyn, and it just did more than it was just more ambitious than those other shows.
yeah. I mean, those other show I'm trying to remember, and you can correct me because you know a little bit more. Was Homeboys Out of Space on UPN?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just like those shows. I mean, they did nothing for me
Yeah, and the Diary of Desmond for Pfeiffer
during that
was.
time.
Yeah, you remember that show about the black slave?
And I definitely nope.
I think he was like Lincoln's butler or something.
Nope.
Yeah, that was the type of stuff they were trying on UPN.
No.
Unfortunately. But yeah, it was But I think yeah, UPN was they were. I think when you look at they had stuff like that, but I think when you do look at like Girlfriends or like Moesha or something like that, they weren't crazy ambitious because of the times that they were in. But I think they did do a lot when you look at the way that they depicted black women in particular. Because we gotta you gotta admit, like, there prior to that era there was very few shows that were led by black women. Like, you may have shows that have uh you know iconic or close to it, memorable black women in the shows, like Cosby Show or 227 or something. Well, 227, I guess, is a good example of a show that was pretty much headed by black women. But even the shows like, Wheezy on the Jeffersons or something, or Aunt Esther on Sanford and Son, like, they were still mostly side characters. You know, shows like Moesha and Girlfriends, a half and half and stuff.
Right.
They put black women in the front and they kept them there, and they were the drawing point for the shows, and they were speaking mostly to sisters in the way that other shows haven't. And today you get that more with shows like Insecure is probably the best example of that. And but it back then it was something that couldn't be taken granted as much.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, the writing. I mean, there was still better shows with black people on it during that time. I mean, you had Martin, you had Living Singer.
Living Single, yeah, the best examples would probably be those two. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Even though it was in comedy, you had New York Undercover. I mean, there were better shows that actually preceded that, in that immediate era. But that, but for whatever reason, the late '90s, early aughts was just shit. It just, I don't know. It wasn't. It was lacking. So I don't know. But for some people, maybe just it's kind of like nostalgia. It's kind of like eating White Castles after a long time. You have
White Castles. It is nostalgic, I would say. Yeah, I don't know if it's empty like White Castles, but it's nostalgic, definitely.
Girlfriends is probably like Cheesecake Factory. If I had to like compare something, it's like Cheesecake Factory. Like Cheesecake Factory, yeah. I mean, it tastes good, but is it like something that I'm gonna go out my way to eat? The answer is no.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
that's the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Girlfriend. What helped Girlfriends though is God, what's my girl name? Is Ross.
Tracy Ellis
Ross becoming a bigger star in the years since. So I think a lot of people who maybe not were into the show back then or didn't really pay attention to it, or were younger or were too young for the show, they've seen her become bigger since then on Blackish and stuff, and they that kind of helps the legacy of the past show because this is where she started. That kind of happened. Yeah, that kind of happened with Jamie Foxx when when he really got established as a big actor with Ray and stuff, and people look back at his show, it was like, okay, he was doing stuff on the show that we see him do now, like singing and all this stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could happen for a show, that extends its staying power or something like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, no, I agree. It's plenty of good shows to catch up on.
Yeah, I mean, it was when you look back at that time, there were a lot more options. There were a lot of, and a lot of them didn't raise to the level of prestige TV that we have now. But a lot of times you just want to sit back and enjoy something for 22 minutes with commercials and have some fun. You know what I mean?
I don't know if we lived in a COVID era, I wouldn't, and that was all that was on TV. Wouldn't surprise. Like back when you was, I mean, I don't know. Back when you was a kid, you didn't have options. I mean, you went outside and played. I mean, you had other distractions. But if I'm stuck in the house all day and all I got to watch is network TV during the, late 90s, early aughts, it's a pretty depressing thing.
That would have been the greatest. No, but yeah, we're at a different point in time. We have too much stuff to watch now, so it's we going so that's really not an issue now. Dave?
Listen. All right. Yeah. I hear you. I was gonna say, I was gonna say, hindsight being 2020. If we had Netflix 20 years ago, I think the murder rate would have been lower. I don't think it would have been 700-800 people like it was. So I think it's a lot of creature comforts that existed. If I all I had was network TV, if I had more than network TV as a kid, I wouldn't have been trying to be outside.
Well, yeah, that's a good and bad.
More people would have been inside the house if you had Netflix versus just ABC and UPN.
Well, we were the last generation too that was really encouraged to
oh yeah, because I mean, people were antisocial as hell.
Yeah, if we didn't go outside enough, we might could risk getting whooped on. So the kids don't have that. Kids don't even have to worry about that now. They really do whatever they want in regards to staying out or staying in. And a lot of these overprotective parents want them to stay in.
Yeah.
Even before the pandemic, it was like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, agreed.
Yeah.
No, yeah, agreed. Agreed. Yeah. Well, I don't know. On the next show, I wanted to talk maybe about doing some. I don't know. Are we having on Mark next week or?
Yeah, if you want, I said the week after this one. So yeah. No, I said the week after this one. So that'll be next week will be a good time for it. Since we're talking about it in front of the audience, you might as well give a little tease about it.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. So I had the pleasure of meeting a gentleman who used to play professional basketball, who as well as coach at the collegiate level, and he's part of a cycling group I'm involved out here in Southern California. He's agreed to be on the show, so hopefully he'll be on the show next week. And I'm sure he should have some great stories for us because he played in the league.
Yeah. I'd be glad to talk to him, and you know, like I say, especially given that you say he used to play on the Lakers, right?
No, he played at Golden State.
Oh, Golden State. Okay, I thought you said the Lakers, but still, yeah, having played in the NBA, that's great, and we do, like I said, we have the finals going on. It'll still be going on by next week. I think next week we're going to. I want to go into this with Rookie, but some more sort of housekeeping stuff. I think next week we'll probably go back to Tuesday because Wednesday is going to be my mother's birthday, and I'm gonna try to do something with her on that day. So, but next week we'll probably do Tuesday again. But I kind of want to go after next week. I kind of want to go a few weeks on Wednesday again because sort of leading through election week. Because I don't know about doing the show on election day, man. Because that's if we kept on Tuesday, we'd have a show on election day, and I don't know if I want to do. I did a show on election day with Ken and Demons and I got Jason back in 16. I don't know if I want to go through that again.
Got it. Okay, that's fine.
So we made after next week. Like next week we'll do another Tuesday show, and after that, probably go back to Wednesday at least through election week.
All right. Yeah, I mean that's cool.
But then next week, you want to say some more about Mark? What's his last name?
Mark Wade.
Mark Wade.
Wade.
Okay, Wade.
Yeah.
We'll try to have him on next week. It'll be great to have another guest on, and like I said, at an appropriate time, given the finals are going on, but also talk about whatever else is going on in his life. Like what else? Like you say, he's in your cycling group, and what else does he? What else is he doing? What does he do for a living?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So right now, I guess he's in a limo driver right now. But he's, like I said, he's based here in Southern California. He has a background where I really thought it'd be interesting because there are some parallels kind of his life to where, like, I think Craig Hodges. So whereas Craig of course played longer than him, but he played pro ball, he played minor league ball, and then, like I said, he's also coached as well.
Yeah, it's great, because that's definitely the life for most guys who played in the NBA. Most, I think a lot of people, especially nowadays, sort of take for granted that guys, they play in the league and then they get a TV job or do something that's, high profile to that degree. But most guys, they get in the league, have a cup of coffee or two, and they go back to sort of regular lives, and they have that part of their life that, their lives when they play the NBA. That's, it may be a peak or it may just be one highlight in their life that, that they share with other highlights, But it's definitely a great accomplishment because there's hardly anybody but like 200, 300 people at a time who are playing in the NBA. You're talking about the highest level of accomplishment in one of the hardest sports in the world, So, yeah, we definitely look forward to talking with Mark and seeing, getting that perspective from being in the league and, just, surviving and doing what he's been doing since. And I want to get his perspective on how you are on the cycle too, Did you say he like saved your life?
Oh yeah, that's well, I don't now. Well, I said thanks for the save earlier today. What happened is I fell off my bike and I ended up scraping up my arm pretty bad on Sunday, and I was on a shoulder of a bike trail, and I ended up going off the bike trail, and then I fall in on some rocks and ended up scraping myself up pretty bad. So he made sure I made it back to my car. We were a good distance from where we started at. So
that's very nice of him. That's great.
yeah,
Great they held you down.
yeah. He was I think it was really poignant at the time he was playing Johnny Gill's. Prior to the incident happening, he was playing Fairweather Friend by Johnny Gill. So
Okay. It's a nice soundtrack. Yeah. It sounds like a prestige TV scene there with the appropriate soundtrack.
yeah, but no, he's a great guy, and I think he's had some life experiences that have added to that character. Being a good character, and
Sure.
I think the league being part of it, but also just kind of some other events that happened, which kind of brought him to where he's at now. And I think it would just be great to have him come on and kind of just share, what what life looks like from an alternative perspective outside of the league. It doesn't look like the same for everybody.
Definitely. I'm glad you brought him up, man. Oh man, we got to talk about this right quick. The Borat 2 movie is coming back. It's coming out in a few weeks. They're showing a commercial they show a commercial for the trailer. That's how they do nowadays. They show the trailer gets a commercial but I read yesterday that it's gonna be on Amazon and just before the week before the election.
Yeah, this year that shouldn't be surprising. This year can get crazy and it's 3 more months left in this year, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, a Borat sequel is pretty appropriate for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that just it's not a whole lot of opinion that I have on it. I mean, I remember the last 2, and so
it was the one, but I think you're talking about the Bruno movie too.
Bruno, yeah, same difference, both disturbing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not really surprising that Sacha Baron Cohen chose this. He kind of reminds me of what was the right-wing guy who got into some trouble for saying it's acceptable to have pedophilic relationships. Milo Yiannopoulos.
Oh yeah.
Milo. Yeah,
he's a bit more clever than that guy, I think.
He's clever, but troll nonetheless.
He apparently he did some bit where I don't know if this is going. I will guess it's going to make the movie, but he got an interview with Giuliani, and he came in with a pink thong on or something. He just. You can imagine how Giuliani reacted to that.
He should know. There's been enough people that pranked him lately. He should know not to be doing any any interviews that are not on TV, like media.
Not Fox News or something.
Right? Yeah, if you're not on Fox or CNN, you shouldn't be doing any man on the street interviews. He's been pranked enough.
Yeah, but he just. He's increasingly losing it. You talked about not being Trump or Biden at that point in life. I think you really don't want to be Giuliani at that point in life.
Yeah. None of them. I don't know what. Yeah, they all seem to be going off the rails. So
yeah. I guess we could wrap up, man. We got over an hour in. Mostly talking about the reacting from the first and hopefully only presidential debate.
Hopefully so.
Yeah, this game isn't. I'm not rushing to this game because the Lakers are up like 30. It was competitive in the first half, but Lakers are broken open. But yeah, I'll just go chill for the rest of the evening, man. Let you chill with your babies and stuff.
Yep. All right.
We'll talk. We'll check up with Mark, man, and try to make that happen for Tuesday, next Tuesday, and we'll keep it going, man. Like I said, Rook. Hopefully, Rook can stay for a whole show next week. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Yeah, but But yeah, I'll holler at you next week, man. We'll holler at y'all. WeAreRigoRadio.com. Of course, keep checking us out. We're on Anchor. You know, like I said, all type of sports stuff. If you like it, basically everything's going on in the NFL, MLB, NBA. We got something on all of that. You know, opinions and interviews and all that. So keep checking us out. And in the building every week, Tuesday or Wednesday, coming in the near future. We got y'all.
All right.
All right, bro.
All right. Peace.
Peace.